support it, I'll let you pick the 10 slides like that. I assume you're on the fly at the dais, but we've got to start a little bit. If we got you the a little bit. If we got you the money to 2.4. So that's fine. Okay, sounds good. And you can a little more enthusiasm. We're going to get through this. Thank you, Greg. Apologies for Riley up the ground.
No worries. We'll go to Councilmember Von Wilbert. No worries. We'll go to Councilmember Von Wilbert.
Thank you. The County Water Authority still, and we're looking to reflect in the main advice proposal.
Okay. Thank you. Didn't we have that discussion last year about consolidating brush management under Tony Tasca's shop?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so we're still in the process of implementing that?
It was not implemented or reflected in the budget last year. Capture part of the main advice proposal.
Okay, thank you. I'll look for that in the revised. We have a lot of Parks and Rec employees who come to my fire safety councils and standing groups to talk about brush management. I really appreciate all the work they do. I have another question about just a note with the Humane Society. I'm glad that we were able to work out that contract very much. The Humane Society provides such an important function, and I want to give them a huge shout out for the work they're doing, which has nothing to do with the city. Animal cruelty situation we saw in Julian. I just wanted, my heart goes out to all the humane law enforcement officers, over hundreds of horses, 300 cats. It was horrible to see what was happening. Society for doing that work. And I hope they can pursue a legislative solution to require state oversight of those kinds of facilities. So just want to thank them for that. But thank you for working with them to make sure our contract is responsible and we're able to fund it. I also wanted to thank Council President for raising the film support question because we have a great workforce here in IATSE, and the best picture of the year, Battle After Battle, was filmed here. So why would we not be continuing to recruit more film to San Diego? Are we seriously cutting recruiting film to San Diego? Is that what we're thinking? I didn't realize that was going to happen in the budget. So,
Councilmember, I think, and I'm leaning on Christina if I miss anything here as the director of the department, but film permits will continue. I think what you will no longer see is this concierge service that Christina was talking about, where we're able to kind of work directly with them very closely, but film permits will continue within the Parks and Recreation Department. So we will still be advertising and bringing people to film here.
how much money is it going to save by cutting this one program?
I have to defer that exact cost as far as salary goes to DOF. I don't have that immediately within the city of San Diego's premises. To add some context, that I think what Chief Rania is getting at is that historically the city had made a decision as far as the posture goes to not charge for its services in this case, with the understanding or the idea that that would then attract more film business because we would be a more, it would be a more lucrative opportunity comparatively to other cities. Obviously, because of that, we are not bringing in money or revenue specifically to the city for generating those 400 plus permits a year, those 500 film days per year currently. There is, as I mentioned, residual indirect economic benefit in the tens of millions by doing that and bringing that business to San Diego. And we can change our permit model to charge for those services to ensure that not only are they cost recovered, more than that. We can make things more bureaucratic and film companies wouldn't come here. So I'd like to follow up on that and make such a small portion of the budget, and we're hundreds of employees come here. It increases our sales tax, our TOT. We should be continuing to do that work. I will also add that program manager also is responsible for commercial drone use for all of our well. We currently do not charge for that. However, there is nobody, neither in my department nor in the Park and Rec department currently that has any type of expertise to facilitate environmental reviews or anything that would help to educate decision-making when it comes to that type of permitting activity. I just want to make sure that that was also clear, that would be lost as well. But that's individual. Okay, I think that is not, just like we're not gonna cut matching funds to get more donations, we shouldn't be cutting a recruitment to get film here, because it's gonna result in more money for us. So I'd like to dig into that for the meeting, guys. And if we need municipal code updates, that's fine too, let us know, because we're in charge of that. If you need us to change municipal code, we can do that, just let us know what it is.
Yes, we need to do that.
Okay, thank you very much. I also have a question about Balboa Park. So we implemented parking fees for Balboa Park, and the only reason that I voted for that is because we were guaranteed those funds would go back to the park and help with the very serious maintenance needs we hear about all the time. I mean, the public comment for this budget so far, and are we not plowing that directly into maintaining the park? It doesn't need to sit in an account, it should be used to fix the park right now.
So the Balboa Park parking is currently put into a fund that's dedicated for Balboa Park expenses. And that has been collecting ever since Balboa Park parking was implemented in January. So since that time, that money has been accruing. We estimate that to be around $7.5 million annually at the rates things are going, between the zoo lease that was adopted by the council and the implementation of paid parking at the beginning of the year. So with that combined, we're continuing to use that to pay for the operations and maintenance of Balboa Park. And then as we see the program, what the numbers are for spikes and declines in usage, and we get better projections and continue to feed that into Balboa Park. But that money's not going to any other place besides Balboa Park.
Okay, well, it should be used to fix the deferred maintenance in the park. It shouldn't just be used to motor actually fix the things that have not been fixed for years. So I'd like to see exactly what we're spending the money on.
Yeah, that remains our goal, is to push in that direction. We're just not there yet because we only had a short time of existence of the program, and the budget we have in front of you today didn't really have a lot of that history. So as we get more data, especially this summer, we'll know more what we're looking at there.
Okay, well, and for all the folks who are here, thank you to the Parks Foundation, the Library Foundation, the Friends, and the Friends of Balboa Park. Let us know. Write to our office and say these are the things we would like to use this money for, because we can then help. Now, I know you have a whole committee going, but we can help argue in the budget for saying, I know you need lawn maintenance, I know you need security, but how about we fix these things in the park and we'll try and find something else to do. Because that was the entire idea of this, is we'll go to funding Balboa Park. I have one more question about the golf fund. My colleagues have asked about it too. Is the golf fund, it seems to be very well capitalized. I want our golf, all of our golf terrains, all of our clubhouses, I want it to continue to thrive. It's a beautiful organization, all the golf courses we have. At the same time, do they have enough cash that we could actually pull it somewhere else and they could debt finance their CIP projects just like every other park does?
Yeah, I'd like to invite John Howard, our Deputy Director of Golf, just to give you a more well-rounded picture of the operation. So as John comes up, what the idea is that we, at Torrey Pines in particular, have some very old facilities. The clubhouse and the maintenance yard are both in need of repair. We're working through a master plan process currently to see how we can bring Torrey into the next century of excellence. So John, I'll turn over to you.
Thanks, Dean. Thank you for the question. Currently, right now, we have been saving up specifically for a long-term capital project at Torrey Pines. Some of you may know, we are working towards meeting our climate action goals as well. One of our things that we're trying to do is to implement a new maintenance facility at all of our facilities that would actually electrify all of our fleets. Over the next, those investments are taken care of. We believe that it's going to be approximately 65 million specifically at Torrey Pines. So yeah, there's significant investment that's coming.
Okay.
Councilmember, you are absolutely right. Historically, you've been cash funding all the capital improvements related to the Gulf Coast improvement. And this is part of the analysis that we're working with you. I have to look into if there's an opportunity to do more debt financing and then free up some of that cash that would be redirected in other critical services within the Park and Recreation Department.
Okay, thank you. To be clear, Torrey Pines is a beautiful facility and it's world renowned and we get a lot of revenue from it and it needs to be upgraded. I completely agree with you. I just think that we could amortize the cost in different ways so that we can actually utilize funds up front. Am I out of time? But Joe, thank you so much. All right, I just have one more question. Thank you very much, Chair. And it's about public safety at the parks. So one, I know we have a lot of discussions to make about closing rec hours, keeping them open. I mean, I agree we need to think about that through an equity lens and making sure that there are opportunities for students and young people and old folks alike to not be involved in horrible activities on the streets and gangs and all of that. I'm 100% agree with you. I also have a question though about what we do to keep our parks safe. You know, when I first got into this office in 2020, just a year and a half later, in January 2022, a man was accused of stabbing his cousin to death at a San Diego park in my district. It was horrible. A young woman was killed. And just down the street, on August 12, 2023, a man was fatally shot and stabbed down the street in Mira Mesa, in the New Mesa Community Park. In October 18th of 2025, 4 men were arrested in December for a murder of a 50-year-old man near the Linda Vista Recreation Center, and he was attacked and killed near the center's playground. And so I see we're cutting security services here at the parks. And so I completely agree that parks are part of our public safety ecosystem. They provide opportunity and healthy outlet. Who keeps our parks safe when terrible people do terrible things at the park?
I think it's important to note that that's a great question, and it is a fundamental challenge that in all parks, all libraries do, in that these facilities lay open to anyone, no matter what their intention is, no matter what they're planning to do, and 99.9%, it's great, it's above board, no problem. 9999, but there's just that one person that comes in with malicious intent and does things. The reduction in security you see in front of you today occurred last year in the parks. That's already in the current adopted budget. And as we've seen over the last several years, we've had employees attacked, we've had members of the public attacked, we've seen various types of illegal as a result of the budget reductions. So as we get more resources, we'll try to do more of those kinds of things. But at the end of the day, there's going to be that resource need to provide that. Now there is a change, as I mentioned, with restrooms and like environmental design and to make things safer that way. But I can't guarantee to you that any person who walks into a park is going to come in with good intentions and is guaranteed to operate them or hold themselves up at a standard that will keep others safe. That's just a sad reality of where we stand as a society, unfortunately. And I would dare say that even if we had a robust security budget, there would still be things like this that could occur from time to time. So it's just a very challenging thing. I don't know if you had something to add to that, but I think Misty has the same issues with the libraries. It's a challenge every day, and it's become a workplace morale issue for our maintenance workers, for our recreation center directors, for our folks that are out in the park, that are in the building, that are in these restrooms. They all see it, and it is continuing to be a problem. Thank you.
So you call the police when you need help?
Yeah,
All right,
right.
thank you.
We will go to Pro Tem Lee.
Thank you, Chair, for turning to me for one last thing. I forgot this in my notes as well, but of the cuts that are happening in special events and film, we've talked a lot about the impact on the film side, and that's certainly something I feel very strongly about. But on the special event side as well, I believe there are cuts. And one of those really stuck out to me because it's in the report from the IDA, which is specifically recently that an administrative aide 2 position was vacated. It had been left unbudgeted this last year. And no quote from the IBA's report talks about the reduction in that may, quote, necessitate pausing the planning and execution of December night lights in FY 2027 until a long-term plan to appropriately staff the event can be achieved. Can you explain what that means?
Thank you for the question, Councilmember. That is correct. With the reduction of the positions that have been proposed in the budget currently, the Special Events and Filming Office is unable to deliver and produce an event as it has in years past, as you all know it to be. So we are in the process of reevaluating what we can make possible in Balboa Park, perhaps to celebrate the holidays, but it would dramatically look much different than it has in years past, to the extent that it would virtually not be happening at all. And then anything other than that, we would be working internally to evaluate how we might be able to celebrate the holidays in Balboa Park otherwise.
Thank you. I thank you for sharing the details on that. It might seem like a small line, but based on the response, it sounds to me like the city's planning on no longer having December 9th.
I think we're still working through the details of what December 9th would look like, depending on the cost the city generating revenue off. So, still working through those details.
That is correct. The event takes both indirect staffing costs, overtime costs, as well as direct costs, both for goods, services, and contracts, in order to put the event on each year. We do spend a considerable amount of time fundraising throughout the year to offset and or to provide above and beyond amenities to ensure that the event is enjoyable for folks that attend, but it does cost the city. There's a significant amount of staff, public safety staff, my staff, the Park and Rec Department staff, that spend a considerable amount of time, obviously, over the 2 days it's held, but also throughout the entirety of the year. The program coordinator position that is proposed for reduction in the budget spends 80% of her annual time over 12 months preparing for the event.
Understood, which explains why the loss of that position has that kind of impact. Thank you for answering these questions. And I'm just gonna, that comment I think was an interesting one in terms of the cost of the city. There are a lot of things that I think, because that point I've been trying to make all along, which is if all options to suggest that there are dollar values attached to them and not real people, we are not getting. I don't care how structurally balanced we think the budget is, but that is not the city we're looking to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you, Pro Tem. We will conclude to Councilmember Elo Rivera.
Thank you, Chair. Just very quick, but I appreciate what Council President Pro Tem said there, is that idea that it costs the city money. It's important to know, and there are like such profitable businesses that this city does stuff for and does not ask for even cost recovery from. The idea that we would push one of the most kind of like cherished San Diego traditions aside without first asking those folks to pay their fair share is insane to me. And this is one of the central questions I think in this budget conversation, is when is San Diego going to stop just allowing people to take, who already have so much, and continue to put the burden on everyday people. And that is an event that families look forward to, they go to, it's part of what it means to be a San Diegan. I know that as someone who moved here, I've inherited that as part of what it means to be a San Diegan. That we have got to start asking ourselves, who should be paying more before we start slashing and burning things that matter so much to San Diegans. So thank you, Council President Pro Tem, for pointing that out. It's going to require some uncomfortable conversations with some very rich people, but that's what's going to have to get the city moving in the direction that it should be, rather than where it's headed right now, based on its budget, which is into a much more depressing place that is much less enriching for way too many people. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Not seeing any other members on the lights. I think with that, Sarah, let's go ahead and proceed with public comment. Just as you set up, I do appreciate the sentiments, especially when you talk about people. And as we talk about an event such as December nights and what the city's outlay is with that, oftentimes I find ourselves having to struggle in District 4 in putting events together. And we have one coming up in July, where the city did put in dollars into it. I do appreciate the special events office. We have worked with your office closely to try and work through some of the nuances in the process to make sure that our events come out smoothly. So I do appreciate all of those efforts. I'm sure the Black Arts and Culture District continue to work with our organizations to make sure they get understand what they need to provide. And also I hope we are looking at what we can do to streamline, make things a little easier as we are looking at these community type events. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Sarah, for public comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Foster. The public comment period for sub-item F, Community Services Branch Overview, is now open. This includes Library Department and the Parks and Rec Department. Each speaker will have 1 minute per department. Please indicate which department or departments you'll be speaking to. Many of you have made that note on your slip, so when I call you up, I'll just confirm. We will begin with Doris Nguyen. Is Doris present? And then I'm going to call the next group of speakers up. If you can please come to the reserved seats at the front of the room. Dan Way, Pat Wilson, Patrick Stewart, and Corinne Wilson. The parks, so I will place 1 minute on the clock in front of you to manage. Please begin.
Shores Water Polo Club, a nonprofit that serves hundreds of youth athletes in the community. I also serve the USA Water Polo activities throughout San Diego County. I'm here asking you to respect close city pools for up to 13 weeks each year. Because what may look like a budget decision on paper is something very different in real life. It means thousands of kids with nowhere to go. It means high school programs losing their ability to train and compete. It means community programs like ours that rely on these pools simply cannot operate. And it means that taking away one of the most powerful tools we have for drowning prevention, youth development, and public health. These pools are not just facilities, they're classrooms, they're safe spaces, they're where kids learn life-saving skills, literally. Every hour a pool is closed is an hour a child is not learning how to save their own life in the water. That matters. Our club alone has served thousands of athletes.
Thank you. This does conclude your time. Thank you for your comment. Our next speaker is Pat Wilson. And Pat, you have been seated time by Janice or Janice. Thank you. And Stephen. Thank you. And you've indicated you wish to speak to the library, so that's 1 minute per person with a total of 3 minutes. I'll place on the clock for you.
Thank you. I am Pat Wilson, president of the Friends of the San Diego Public Library, a philanthropic organization which funds the library at an average of $350,000 per year. Okay, let's talk cuts to the library budget. We've been pointing out for years now that San Diego Public is woefully underfunded in comparison to other library systems in California and similarly sized systems throughout the nation. We've taken serious budget hits in the past several years, to the point now where no city library branch is open on Sunday. And as of last year, currently fewer than half of Monday hours. In Claremont, the largest neighborhood in the city, no library branch. And now more cuts are being proposed. Most alarmingly, the permanent closure, because come on, we know how these things work, of the North Claremont branch. The only branch in the entire Claremont neighborhood that has a community room. The mayor's Panda department says that the services the library provides are available elsewhere in the area, but that's not exactly true. The library provides all of the services for free for the consumer. A safe third space, climate control with computers, power, and Wi-Fi, clean bathrooms, and programming for all segments of the community. Various aspects of these can be found elsewhere, but not in one place, and not for free. Some metrics might suggest that Claremont residents can afford to pay for services, but let me remind you, median income means that half of the population is below that threshold, and does not indicate how far below. Especially in this economy, many Claremont residents, young families, seniors on fixed incomes, the unhoused, are struggling. They cannot afford to lose the neighborhood libraries that are their lifetime. No neighborhood can. I have collected hundreds of cards from patrons of North Claremont Library and library supporters in the past week, which I have presented to Councilmember Campbell's office. Many of these mentioned that they value being able to walk to their library. Some of the senior patrons no longer drive, and this is how they get to the library. And as Councilmember Von Wilford mentioned, there's the proposed elimination of the $1 million match program. The public part of our public-private partnership. Private philanthropy is a match, and where's that incentive? There's also the very real downstream effect. While 150% of the money donated to a branch via the match goes to that branch, the remaining 50% is pooled and equitably distributed among the branches. Lose that and lose the match and the branches in lower resource communities lose tens of thousands of dollars that they depend on. Libraries build and nurture communities. Look elsewhere to spend funding to balance the library.
Thank you for your concluding remark. Our next speaker is Patrick Stewart, and you have been seated time by Lindsay Martin. Is Lindsay here? Thank you. Laura? Jenna Anderson? Jenny? And Jerry? Okay, that's a total of 6 minutes, 1 minute per department. You have indicated you wish to speak to the library, so I will place 6 minutes on the clock.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, council members and Budget Committee Chair Foster. Here we are again arguing that cuts to libraries are cuts to public safety, to economic development, arts, children, youth, and families, and core civic infrastructure, shedding the light once again, one of the most important institutions in San Diego. We repeatedly asked Misty and her team to continue to do more with less while heaping praises on librarians for doing so. We continue to forego the kinds of investments that would make our library and city truly world-class, and we make this decision in challenging times as well as not so challenging times. This year, as we look at the proposed budget, I firmly encourage you to entertain conversations that suggest of library hour closures in our community, I mean all of our communities. For 25 years, the City Council's library ordinance has repeatedly been ignored and never once has been honored. And in the last decade, we've chipped away at the library's maintenance budget until it ceased to exist, and now we're saddled with over $60 million in building disrepair. And now when we're facing crippling debt, that is children, young. But we've been having this conversation long before this administration and this generation of council members, and I'm sure that we'll continue arguing against cuts to libraries San Diego way. But I'd like to take a moment to address something that we have just begun talking about. Increasingly, in the last few years, an argument has been surfacing that private philanthropy and private industry should be stepping up to do more in the delivery of core city services. I'll tell you that I've been meeting a lot and speaking a lot with my peers and other philanthropists in our region, and that statement is met with a very serious amount of concern. In the nearly 2.5 decades the Library Foundation has existed, private philanthropy has contributed just under $180 million to support the San Diego Public Library. Aside from support for the new Central Library in District 3, donors have anchored philanthropic support for the development of the New Mission Hills Library branch in early 2019 in District 3 also, and the San Ysidro branch in late 2019 in District 8. We've covered the cost of the development of the new library master plan, which supports the entire city in 2023. And last year, I secured the final $3 million that was necessary in order to renovating the Ocean Beach branch in District 2. Through national philanthropic support, we're currently avoid the impact of the library.
And Ms. Wilson, before you begin, I'm going to invite the next group of speakers up to the front of the room. Michelle Anderson, Rachel Lozano Castro, Ann Feggy, Zoe Woodhouse, and Ozzy Sharif. All right, Ms. Wilson, you have indicated that you wish to speak to Parks and Rec, so I'm going to place 1 minute on the clock.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Corinne Wilson with NEA. Rec centers and programming mean so much to our communities. We hear and see it every day. Stabilizing the departmental budget is critical. NEA supports using a portion of the Belt Fund to provide ongoing funding for the larger mission of the department. However, there's still work to be done in this budget. Under this mayor, in this draft budget, the Parks and Rec of unclassified positions, but more needs to be done. The last time there were this few employees in the department and similar reductions to rec center hours, there were also 3 fewer deputy directors, 3 deputy directors at $216,000. Benefited part-time employees and earned between $18 to $24 an hour. Hopefully, between some new ongoing funds and continuing evaluation of staffing, we will be able to provide our communities with more park and rec services going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle Anderson, and you have been seated time by Juan Carlos Hernandez, and you have also indicated you wish to speak to Parks and Rec, so that will be 2 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much. Mr. Hernandez had to go to meet with some donors, but Kim Mathis is right here in front of us, so I'm going to thank her. She goes on a slip to see if we can back. I'm the immediate past chair of the San Diego Parks Foundation, as many of you know, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We support Park and Rec. We do projects in all of the districts, especially in districts 4, 8, 9, and the Linda Vista portion of District 7. We have taken no position on the 3 options. We request that you use us as a resource in your deliberations. We can assist you in digging a little bit deeper to make adjustments, such as in Park After Dark. Well, Park After Dark, of course, is in the 5 parks. Don't need to mention them to you, but one of them, Silver Wings, probably doesn't need to remain open as much all year round, and that should probably be replaced in your district, Ms. Montgomery Water. And we'll need to dig a little bit deeper into the opportunity funds and in those accounts in parks.
Is Rachel Lozano Castro here? And Peggy? And Ms. Peggy, you have been seated time by Ramon. Ramon present. Thank you. Present. Thank you. Carrie. Thank you. And Carrie. Thank you. And so we will be next. So we will be next. So you have a total of 3 minutes to speak to parks.
In our neighborhood parks. Communities with few other green spaces. Adequate budgets. This proposed budget eliminates the tree maintenance was eliminated. Also last year, non-personnel expenses. 3 days. First, the cities and removed almost 7,000 trees in both parks and open space. That takes staff time and contract money. Secondly, there are 1,000 requests annually about tree conditions. Fallen limbs, dead or dying trees, hanging branches. The public descriptions when they file a request include anticipated damage or injury, showing that there's strong public demand for proactive maintenance to reduce anticipated safety and liability issues. Third, the park staff completed almost 2,000 work orders in the past 5 years for storm damage response, limb and tree removal, tree evaluations, and planned maintenance. Invoices for contractor tree services in these 5 years totaled $2 million, yet the proposed budget has no contract funds. Finally, in summary, adequate tree maintenance is critical for tree health, shade, and other park visitor benefits. Truly lifting this workload and needs to return to 4 tree trimmers and provide adequate funds for the specialized tree contractor work. Thank you.
Thank you. Zoe Woodhouse, you've indicated you wish to speak to parks, so 1 minute on the clock.
My name is Zoe Woodhouse. I'm the project coordinator at Eight Sessions Commitment, which is a nonprofit that advocates for preventative maintenance to remain healthy. And a city this large requires our climate resiliency is to properly maintain what trees recreation department, not only to protect its liability, but to ensure safe and healthy green spaces that can be enjoyed by San Diegans for many generations to come. Thank you.
Good evening, council members. I'm Ozzy Sharif, founder of People and Wildlife. Through this field work, we cannot overemphasize the importance of Park and Rec staff and rangers. Their presence has been vital in keeping people and wildlife safe, preserving the magical biodiversity of life that we have here along the San Diego coastline. So we absolutely would like to be on the side of Park and Rec, and hope to see more and more rangers out there as well.
Thank you. This does conclude your time. I'm going to invite the next group of speakers up. We will begin with Joan Raphael. And Joan, you will be followed by Evelyn Smith, Alan Dolgeroff, Andrew Meyer, and Beth Gibbons. If those individuals can please move to the front of the room, and we will begin with Joan Raphael. And Ms. Raphael, you've indicated you wish to speak to the library, so 1 minute on the clock.
Hi, I'm speaking of a youth crime. I'm going to use the police. We have huge increases. They never work with the public.
Thank you.
We are with a senior needs there. We have a senior exercise group at the Emerald Park this year.
Thank you, council, for the opportunity. It's just 1 block away. It's just 1 block away from one of the most visited areas in the county. This area is densely.
Thank you very much. Thank you, council members. Thank you, Chair Foster. Thank you, Parks and Rec Department. My name is Andrew Meyer. I work for the San Diego Bird Alliance, and my daughter is a lifeguard at the Community Mesa Pool, so I have 2 reasons for talking with you today. The San Diego Bird Alliance is here with a large coalition asking you to retain assistant recreation center directors. These positions are the operational backbone of city recreation programming. Without them, programs do not scale down, they disappear. These are the programs where our youth fall in love with our most biodiverse county and learn to protect it. Retain the asset management team. This 11-person in-house team of landscape architects, a civil engineer, a GIS analyst currently oversees 175 capital improvement projects valued at over $1.2 billion. They are the city's primary engine for community-driven park developments, and the staff that supports community groups and nonprofits like ours, which connect everyone in the city with the species and habitats that we need to steward. And please retain the current level of park rangers. Rangers are the front line of presence that keeps parks safe, accessible, and activated, especially in underserved and park-deficient communities. We work with great integral rangers at Mission Bay Regional Park. The endangered California least tern has come back to nest this week because of the work that the city of staff is doing. We work in Otay Valley Regional Park, where this month is Burrowing Owlet Month, just starting to nest, and the Tri-Canyon and Los Penasquitos Canyons, where we've just partnered with community for a community event to talk about how important nighttime habitat is, as 80% of our North American birds migrate at night. We couldn't do any of these things, and our parks wouldn't have any of these beautiful species if the budget is cut as proposed. Please keep the Parks and Rec staffed and functioning as it does now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Beth Gibbons. And Ms. Gibbons, you indicated you wish to speak to the library, so I'll place 1 minute on the clock in front of you to manage.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, public libraries like press freedoms are vital pillars of democracy. San Diego libraries must not be weakened any further, given the unprecedented attack by the Trump administration on our democracy. Further, I question the mayor's increase in police funding when crime has actually decreased the past 4 years, both locally and nationally. San Diego libraries are underfunded compared with the other major California libraries, and the mayor's cuts make a bad situation worse. It's long overdue for law enforcement to share the pain of budget cuts. A good place to start is to cancel the police department's flock license plate reader contract, allocate that money to libraries. The Privacy Advisory Board recommended against flock. Over 60 cities nationwide, including 7 in California, have canceled flock. This is a terrible corporate citizen with a bad track record of flouting city-imposed rules, and I'm happy to share my flock research if you're interested.
Thank you for that concluding remark. Welton Jones? Is Welton Jones present? And Welton, you have been seated time by Roberto present, and you've indicated you wish to speak on both items. That's 2 minutes a person at 4 minutes total.
Hi, Welton Jones. I'm here to talk about specifically the effort to reorganize the special events and filming department and wrap it into Parks and Rec. Wanted to appeal. Don't have time for everything I was going to say, but I'd like to appeal for an opportunity to perhaps talk with the budget analysts. I'm here with some of my colleagues. We're location managers for the film, television, and photo industries. When projects want to shoot in San Diego, they'll typically or someone like us to and contracts and logistics for the projects. Can generate calls, and in the absence of more calls, those calls will go to the mayor's office, city council's office. It's it'll be tough. Kind of assess the office, location managers like myself, and make the difference between an experienced film permit professional and assistant analyst or assistant administrative aid. I would point out one other thing that obviously if we lose him also, it's going to be tragic for my industry, for the hundreds of film workers here in San Diego, potentially thousands. A year that came into the city. I really would appeal to you to do what you can to keep that.
Here, we're going to have a change. President Pro Tem Lee will be stepping into my place to make sure that we continue to work with this budget process. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to invite the next organized and Ms. Rothmuller. You have indicated that you wish to speak to both items, so I'm going to place Rothmuller. You have indicated that you wish to speak to both items, so I'm going to place 2 minutes on the clock. Please begin.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Roth. I've been in this business for 30 years, so I've been here through the exist. We have to have a
Victor. Rafael.
Exist. We have to have a
Victor. Rafael.
Yeah. Drowning Foundation of San Diego and member of the City Heights.
Yeah.
Drowning Foundation of San Diego and member of the City Heights. We have our local community pool open. Access to pools is not just pools we're up to like mine the most. Low-income families, working parents, and youth. Not happy keeping. We should not have to keep fighting for something that's basic and necessary. And I need you to reject this cause protect our city pools, rec centers, and invest in
I'm here with the City Kansas Youth Council. Again, supported to sign a letter for a deputized city engineer that would allow Parks and Rec to complete projects in-house at a faster timeline and at a cheaper cost. Let's rethink the way that we do things. Earlier, you asked Marina about our proposition, and she mentioned that there is an MOU currently in the works between both departments. The content of that MOU is going to be critical. The agreement should guarantee Parks and Rec a prompt and direct access to a deputized engineer, whether that is a permanent transfer, lending a position, or allowing Parks and Rec staff to walk over and work with that engineer. Our new concern: how will the MOU be executed if the asset management team under Parks and Rec is being dissolved? The team that would have the capacity to help these smaller projects be completed in-house. What will happen long term if our maintenance folks are cut? Lastly, I ask you to look at funding Parks and Rec cuts with the revenue from the Gulf Revenue Fund, and it's not going to have any operational impacts with the city's golf course. And again, get more savings from canceling the flawed contract.
We need it in that form. We need public safety through the arts, through the Parks and Rec, through the pools, through all these different avenues, so that we can reimagine as a community. Again, please ensure that the proposed cuts by Mayor Gloria are reversed, and that you all do your part as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next is another group presentation, Groundwork San Diego. Leslie Reynolds. Thad Winkle. Ozzy. Ozzy's present. Thank you. Timothy. Thank you. Moises. Rose. Angelica. Javier. Sarah. And Ali. Okay, that's a total of 8 speakers, 4 of which have requested interpretation, so an additional minute will be given to those 4 speakers who need interpretations.
2 speakers with interpretation.
Only 2? Oh, okay, so then that'll be a total of, let's see here, 8, that'll be a total of 10 minutes total. 1 minute per speaker plus an additional 2 minutes. So I'll place 10 minutes on the clock and you guys can manage. Please begin.
Hi everyone, my name is Allie McCarthy. I'm the Youth and Family Program Director for Groundwork San Diego. I'll be reading the statement of Leslie Reynolds, our Executive Director. First, we'd like to put into record through the clerk the signed letter by dozens of organizations we work closely with and are deeply committed to the Parks and Rec staff. We've had the great privilege over the past 2 decades of working with Parks and Rec staff to support residents in planning, advocating, and securing external funds for parks, trails, and green spaces. Although there is much to be said about the benefits of these assets to public health and the reduction of chronic disease disparities, traumatic cuts to the Parks and Rec Department also undermine the significant role of parks in social cohesion and in our community's access to government. The prioritization in the city's budget of law enforcement ignores the roles of parks in fostering the relationships, resources, and trust that prevent harm, promote safety in our neighborhoods. When our neighbors, when young people have access to school and after school and summer programs and weekend programs, evening programs, when we have community spaces and support networks, a real voice in our decisions, in the decisions about our community, safety stops being something done to a community and starts being something created by the community. This shift builds dignity, trust, and long-term stability. Law enforcement is reactive. Community building, on the other hand, is proactive and addresses root causes. If we truly want safer, healthier neighborhoods, we need to think beyond the response and invest in prevention. The safest communities aren't the ones with the most policing, they're the ones with the strongest community connections. The park positions proposed for cuts are the ones very responsible for building those connections. Today, trust in government is particularly important in communities of concern. Cutting the very staff in city government that works most closely with us and is most accessible to our residents further erodes this trust. These are the professionals that listen to, understand, and translate the needs and dreams of our youth and families into dog parks, pocket parks, accessible open spaces, and green spaces.
Shifting funds and responsibilities to engineering and capital projects at the expense of parks and rec and open space, rec center management managers will undermine the community's direct access to city staff. As one ECP member said to us last year, we are engineers, not community engagement specialists. Neither does ECP staff have the expertise in park design or infrastructure. Our communities need, depend on, and deserve the amazing team that Director Field has put together. And I have some folks with us that I'd like to call up. And Ozzy will translate.
Hola, mi nombre es Sara Peñalosa, vivo en el distrito número 4.
Hello, my name is Sarah, and with our family members, our neighbors, and our children. And we become healthier in all senses. To prevent that our children, that are our future, don't become people that commit crimes. And instead become better citizens for the future of this city. Thank you.
Mi nombre es Angélica Lorenzo.
My name is Angélica Lorenzo.
Soy madre de 5 niños.
Mother of 5 children.
Hoy estoy aquí para abogar por los parques y bibliotecas.
I'm here to advocate for parks and for libraries.
Por favor, no corten los fondos para las bibliotecas ni los parques.
Please don't cut the funds for the library nor the parks.
Porque esto ayuda a nuestros niños
Because this helps our children
a ser mejores.
to become better.
Ellos necesitan de áreas verdes
They need green spaces
y necesitan de los programas que ofrecen las bibliotecas.
and they need the programs that libraries offer.
Por favor,
Please
piensen en los niños
think of the children
antes de tomar una decisión,
before making a decision.
porque esto afecta no solo a los niños, también a adultos.
Because this affects not only children but adults as well.
Gracias
Thank you
por su atención.
for your attention.
Hi, my name is Timothy Peñalosa. I go to Millennium Second Middle School in District 4. A couple of years ago, my friends and I held a meeting with Parks and Recreational staff at Gompers Lake Burley Park as part of our summer program, Groundwork First. At this meeting, we told park staff and our community what changes we wanted to see at the Berryville Park that didn't make us feel safe. One change we asked for was a dog park, and we wanted it to go on the north edge of the park near our school. We wanted this change to help families have an area for dogs, but also reduce the amount of parties with loud music and smoking from happening near our school and disturbing our liberty. City Parks and Recreation staff made this happen for us, and we know they want to help us by fixing the bathrooms and play equipment. They already helped us add more trees to the park on Arbor Day. Please don't cut the staff that help us and our community. Thank you.
I'll take it. I just want to show the poster here, if you guys can hold it up. So this is a picture of them when this dog park opened. If you can look at this, this is an effort that took their imagination, children, the future, and added something to mitigate something that was going on. Whether it was a city or budget or whatever reason that wasn't happening. To advocate work with Parks and Rec staff. Thank you very much, Andy Field. We really, really appreciate your staff. And it created a space that now is used by the community. There's dogs, there's think about it. It's that energy that helps us keep going. They're part of our green team, which is our Earth Lab. Continues and then become adults that care about the community and they can
get something that's, you know what, it's not even getting something, it's keeping something. We want to keep this funding. There's other places that are being added funding way back. What's being added funding and what's being removed? What's going to bring safety to our communities is a dog park like this. Not that surveillance, not other stuff. I want you to advocate that. If you can please leave just last minute on here for you guys to just think and consider, you're in the position to help us out here. I know we're not in an ideal situation, but there's a lot of things here that are extremely meaningful and will be meaningful in this future. I'll leave this minute on the phone.
As we wait the last 15 seconds, I'm going to call the next group of people up. We will have Brian Pollard, who will be followed by Jermaine, Richard Diaz, Courtney Altiski, and Leah Volkowski. We will begin with Brian Pollard. Is Brian Pollard present? Thank you. Jermaine? And you've indicated you wish to speak to Parks, so welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jermaine Robles-Borla. My family lives in Milwaukee. We shouldn't be cutting the Parks and Rec budget. We should be investing more. Imagine if we reallocated block budget to Parks and Rec. That makes me feel safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Richard Diaz, and you've indicated you wish to speak to Parks. 1 minute.
Thank you, board members. Thank you, board members, for giving me this opportunity to speak before you. I'm Richard Diaz, current president of Oak Park Community Council, and I support groundwork. Obviously, we worked on in the past. I just want to focus on one park as an example. When we moved here some years ago, we saw a burn ash site transformed into a beautiful North Choice Community Park. And it's wonderful for the community. We have a network of trails, a creek, a real creek that runs through there, and it's very close to the communities and within walking distance of 2 elementary schools. The educational opportunities are there, but we need the foundation. The foundation is money on a regular basis. Foundation money. Maintenance, not just deferred maintenance, ongoing maintenance and projected maintenance, and also proper staffing. So I hope you consider that in your decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Courtney? And you've indicated you wish to speak to libraries, so place 1 minute on the clock.
Good evening, honorable council members, and special thanks to City Library and Park and Rec teams. My name is Courtney Baltiski with the YMCA and here with Children First Collective. When we walked in, we were asked if we want to choose library or Park and Rec. And to your point, Council Pro Tem, I'm here. We're all here to keep children, youth, and households at the heart of decision making. A thriving community is a safe community, and that means evaluating access, choice, and quality experiences over a lifetime. The intersections have to be understood. In the past year, I've referred multiple people to OIS, childcare business owner navigating decisions with fire marshals, youth who applied to the youth councils and didn't hear back, and a city intern in great need of a housing referral. These are complex systems, but OCYS built trust with these individuals providing ready information. It shows knowledge, strategy through the child and youth plan, and trauma-responsive support. Losing these elements of a thriving community will set the city back significantly. We can't afford to lose OCYS. Please consider keeping at least 1 FTE. Thank you.
Thank you. Liam? Is Liam Volkowski still present? Okay. We will move on then. Our next is San Diego Canyonlands. And as I call your name, if you can please raise your hand. Yeshua? Alicia? Madeline? Maya? Jeremiah, excuse me. Annabelle? Sarah Thompson? And Melanie? Melanie is still present? Thank you. Okay, so it's a total of 6, and you have indicated you wish to speak to Parks, so by 6 minutes on the clock. Please begin.
Staff and council members, my name is Jesh and I'm a director at Canyonlands. I work closely with Parks and Recreation and know this department is stretched to their limits, yet manages complex mandated responsibilities. They are unsung heroes that maintain the natural infrastructure we all take for granted. This includes obligations for vulnerable habitats and safe access to nature. We're speaking about preventing disasters and safeguarding public lands. If staffing is reduced, deferred maintenance, prevention costs are what disaster does. Parks capacity enables community partners to unlock tens of millions in state funds for community and natural infrastructure projects. These are all hard decisions, but slashing their budget is a liability San Diego cannot afford. Thank you for your consideration.
Good afternoon, my name is Alicia, Outreach Manager with San Diego Canyonlands. I would like to speak to something a little less visible but absolutely critical, and that is the institutional knowledge that our Parks and Rec open space staff carry. When experienced staff in these departments are laid off, we don't just lose positions, we lose decades of relationships, operational expertise, and a deep understanding of how to care for and activate these community spaces. These are the people who know how to maintain safe, welcoming parks and green spaces, coordinate essential programs like brush management, and respond to community needs. When that knowledge disappears, it creates gaps that remaining staff simply cannot fill overnight. We've seen this pattern before in broader public systems. When expertise is hollowed out, services decline, and it can create an impression that public programs aren't working. If we truly value San Diego Parks and Rec and open spaces as places for community wellness and connection, then we must also protect the people who make those spaces function.
Good afternoon. My name is Annabelle Willie, and I'm here to speak about the importance of parks and open spaces through the lens of equity and access. In neighborhoods like City Heights, green spaces are often the only free, accessible resource to young people. These spaces are their classrooms, their recreation centers, their connection to nature, and their safe space to manage feelings of stress and anxiety. The high school internship program I teach, as well as Canyonlands volunteer efforts, operate within and work to maintain the 5 canyons in City Heights and rely on direct partnership with park staff. When you reduce support for the maintenance of parks, recreation centers, and open spaces, you're directly reducing access for underserved communities who already have the least. These aren't optional services. They are essential infrastructure for public health, youth development, and community resilience. If we want safer, healthier neighborhoods, we have to invest in the spaces that make that possible. Thank you.
Good afternoon. In the face of the climate crisis, cutting funds to the Parks and Rec Department is not a neutral decision. It actively weakens our city's climate resilience. I live in Mission Valley and I also work in Southeast San Diego, two of the most flood-prone regions in San Diego. The flooding from improper infrastructure has disrupted my ability to work and contribute to the community, while others have lost their businesses and belongings. There are measures that be put in place to have flood resilience in these areas through green spaces and natural water control. The Parks and Recreation Department and Open Space Division, especially the support services, have played an essential role in the growing movement for community-led natural infrastructure. Work that can tap into the $3.8 billion being generated by the California Crop for Bond Management. This bond measure acts as water quality control, drought control, flood, and wetland resilience over the next decade. This funding brought to the city through the Parks and Recreation Department assisting green space creation and maintenance. These spaces are not a luxury, but instead part of a living infrastructure. When we reduce funding, we don't just lose jobs or amenities, we disrupt systems that quietly protect us every day.
Good afternoon, committee members. My name is Sarah Thompson. Thank you so much for letting me speak today. You've already heard about many benefits that our parks and open space areas, including public health, youth development, community resilience, but by decreasing funding for parks and open space preventative maintenance and staff, infrastructure deterioration and blight can set in, making it a less than welcome area for residents. I live in City Heights and I work with volunteers to restore our canyon. And what I hear most from my neighbors is that A, they and their families want to enjoy our canyon spaces, and B, they feel safe to use these beneficial spaces when they are clear of debris, the trail is well maintained, and they feel safe. To keep these vital spaces and to invest in the programs and people that make that happen. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Melanie Croce. I'm a Site 8 resident and a development director at San Diego Coastkeeper. I'm here today to urge you to please protect funding for our Parks and Recreation Department. These aren't just nice to have amenities. They are essential community infrastructure for a safe.
Include the group 6 minutes.
It would have been better off for you.
Okay, we'll come and get a slip from you. Minute on the clock and we'll pick up this person's slip. Thank you.
Our parks and open spaces support water resilience by capturing stormwater, preventing flooding, and improving water quality. They safeguard biodiversity, preserving native habitat in a county that boasts the most biodiverse in the continental United States. And importantly, parks ensure equitable public access to nature and third spaces, something every San Diegan deserves, regardless of age or zip code. In a city world-renowned for its parks, open spaces, and coastlines, attracting visitors from all over the globe, cuts to this department don't just reduce services. They increase long-term costs, environmental risks, and public health challenges. Investing now is the fiscally responsible choice. Please stand up for our environment, our safety, and quality of life by fully funding Parks and Recreation. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to call the next group of speakers up. If you can please come to the seats at the front of the room. Bill Evans, MC Sherwood, Lori Lipsman, and Susan Swisher. Bill Evans, you have been seated time by Jolene and by Stephanie. Thank you. And you've indicated you wish to speak to Parks and Rec, so I will place 3 minutes total on the clock.
Yes, I would. Thank you very much. I'm Bill Evans. Here today as president of the Mission Bay Lessees organization, which represents all the lessees in Mission Bay Park. But Mission Bay is just not a park. It's one of San Diego's greatest public assets, and it's also one of the most important revenue generators the city of San Diego has. Lessees in Mission Bay, we lease land from the city, and we invest private capital in employing thousands of people and serve residents and visitors. But we pay a percentage rent back to the city of San Diego. In fact, last year, we contributed $65 million to the general fund of San Diego. That is over 50% of all the revenue you get from any of the leases come through Mission Bay Park. The problem is, we're up against the Port of San Diego. If you go to the Port of San Diego, you notice how well maintained everything is around the Port of San Diego. We pay the same amount of leases that the port does, but we do not get the same amount of service. And that is a very, very poor investment strategy for the city of San Diego. Because as the hotels in Mission Bay do well, the city makes more money. And they're directly tied together. And we're seeing an erosion of maintenance staff. In fact, since 2007, we have 50% less people maintaining that park. But our rents have gone up 44%. You can see it's not a square deal. And this current budget, and I give Andy a lot of credit because he gets beat up on by everybody. Everybody picks on his budget. You're giving him an impossible task to be able to maintain Mission Bay Park, which, interestingly enough, the majority of users, Councilmember Moreno, are from south of I-8 that enjoy Mission Bay Park. Everybody thinks it's PV or La Jolla. The majority of the users are south of 8. So we're hurting our tourists, we're hurting the citizens of San Diego, and it's hurting the investment the city of San Diego makes. We will not make as much money with the current plan to cut out the funding of Mission Bay Park. And on another note, my mother was a founding member of the Film Commission, and that was in '76. And then in 1984, we were lucky enough to have Top Gun filmed at the Bahia Hotel. ChatGPT says about 500 million people in the world have seen that film. That wouldn't have happen if there hadn't been a film commission. And to gut the film commission how you are, it is like, it's the craziest thing I've ever heard. It's.
Our next speaker is MC, and you have indicated you wish to speak to both libraries.
San Diego for a dystopian future with disastrous cuts and enduring irreparable harm. I'll also observe that, science fiction dystopians that's been referred to has been Suzanne. Similarity there in that, the point of Hunger Games was that the districts were all being set against each other when it wasn't appropriate. Parks and recreation and libraries and our various districts within those systems should not be fighting each other for scraps. We should be getting fully funded. The money can come from somewhere else. And other people have spoken pretty eloquently about where. But you don't need to drill down to line item analysis to grasp that maintaining these critical third spaces will cost less long-term consequence. We're going to suffer. And I ask you, what message does the proposed budget send to needs these resources to realize their future goals of becoming a city official? Thank you.
There is Lori Lipsman, and you have been seated time by Lisa Longo. Lisa's still here. Thank you. And you, please, departments you wish to speak to? All right, 4 minutes.
Member, my name is Lori Lipsman, a constituent of District 3, living in North Park since 1987. I'm here to urge you to reject all cuts to libraries and parks and recreation in the mayor's proposed budget. These are not a luxury service. They are essential public infrastructure that helps people survive and be safe. My husband and I use our neighborhood library weekly and downtown library regularly. Libraries provide access to books, internet, diverse learning resources, and makers labs, community events, youth and senior programs, local art and indoor public space for everyone. Parks and recs are equally vital, especially as San Diego leans into increased density. Parks provide places for exercise, reflection, connection, and access to nature. Parks all over the city have helped me decompress, recharge, and stay connected to community, which has been especially important during the current backsliding of our democracy. And recreation centers matter deeply. Last night, a woman spoke about a recreation center closing when she was a teen. She then joined a gang because we all need community. This is a real-world impact of the investment. I am ashamed to have voted for Todd Gloria and seriously question voting for Stephen Whitberg. I should have paid closer attention. I'm paying closer attention now, and I'm engaging. Cutting libraries, parks, and recs will increase, while increasing funding for police and mass surveillance sends the wrong message about our city's priorities. Please reduce funding for policing, end the city's contract with block safety, and protect the community's resources that actually improve people's lives. Just as I stated last night, this proposed budget is the least creative way to deal with the deficit. Consider getting artists and creative and involved in all your committees. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Susan Swisher. Is Susan present? All right, I'm going to invite the next group of speakers up to the front of the room. Katie McDonald, Peter Comiskey, Claire Snyder, Liliana, and Caitlin Nadal. Is Katie McDonald still here? Thank you. All right, Peter Comiskey, you have indicated you wish to speak to Parks and Rec, so 1 minute.
Good evening, committee members. First, thanks to Andy Field, John Roberts and his team, Christina Chadwick, and our park rangers for their dedication under significant pressure. The current system adds unnecessary friction and penalises a barrier to discourage regional and city residents. The math is clear. The net revenue from paid parking is nominal. compared to the millions lost in admissions and economic activity. As you finalise the budget, please take a broader view. Let's focus on net revenues, and ensure that our city can be enhanced with Balboa Park as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Claire Schneider? Liliana?
Labor and education to affirm that they will not support this elimination. Your council offices today also received emails from plenty of constituents who don't want this. Everyone but the mayor, his office, and some others in this room don't believe investing truly in current youth needs. Do not eliminate OCYS. I urge mayor, staff, and library executive leadership and council to really challenge the mayor's decision. Your job is public service, and it starts with young people. You are all here because someone decided to invest in you when you were a young person. Thank you, and I hope to speak to you all soon.
Thank you. Caitlin Nadal? You indicated you wish to speak to libraries. 1 minute.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Nadal. I'm a North Claremont resident and parent, and I'm here to urge you not to shut down the North Claremont Library. This tiny library has an outsized positive impact on our community. My children and I regularly walk there from our home, and I spent many hours working on my laptop while they read, or they attend a program, or they do one of the very fun, creative, low-cost activities that the very kind, thoughtful librarians put together. Every time you visit, this library is full of community members. They're using the computers, they're printing their important documents, they're connecting with vital social services, or they're meeting in the community room. And I think it's important to emphasize that many of the North Claremont Library's patrons do not even live in my neighborhood yet. Across the street, there's new apartments being built. In the backyards of all the houses as you walk by, you can see the brand new ADUs. The Claremont Community Plan is calling for 38,000 more people to move in, including housing right across the street at Claremont Town Square. We need more library services in North Claremont, not fewer. I urge you to fully fund all city libraries.
Thank you. Linda Barr? Linda, you will be followed by Catherine Tibbins, Aaron Kisnell, Megan Kent, and allegedly Audra. You have indicated you wish to speak to libraries. 1 minute.
I'm cheating now because I'm going to speak to all three actually. But I want to thank everybody.
If you would like to speak to both, you can have 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, council members, for representing our communities. We appreciate that you prioritize the needs of all of our residents. I believe it's been well established here today that reductions to community libraries is detrimental to our communities. But I'd like to thank the 6 council members. I'd like to ask that the Director of Libraries team remove the option to permanently close the North Claremont Library from the budget proposal. Please keep in mind that all the libraries are valuable community resources. They are havens and vital to the health and well-being of our communities. Libraries, which affect the mind, parks and rec, which supports the body, and then the arts, which affects our soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine, you have indicated you wish to speak Parks and Rec to the 1 minute for libraries. Please begin.
My name is Catherine Tibbins. During the 2020 election, Todd Gloria stated that libraries, quote, play a leading role in making sure that we continue to knock down barriers between us, particularly for some of our young people and frankly adults who don't have access to the kinds of things they need to be successful in their lives. As your mayor, it's my responsibility to build a great city, he said. A great city, he continued, is one that invests in its people and gives them the opportunities that they need to be successful, and that, again, necessarily includes our branch libraries. Mr. Gloria also said that he enjoyed the solitude of the library setting and the fellowship of librarians who helped with homework and kept him off the streets and out of trouble. I believe that all of you know that a great city needs great libraries. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron? And you have indicated you wish to speak to Parks and Rec. 1 minute.
My name is Aaron Quisnell. I'm here on behalf of the San Diego City Conference and the several hundred student athletes that play golf on one of our 25 high school teams. We range from itself. We include schools such as Hooper and Crawford and Seahawks. We play about 3,800 rounds of golf on the 3 courses through the year. This includes most of our matches and our championship tournaments for both boys and girls hosted by Balboa. And has included golfers such as, in the past, Sandra Shoplin and Phil Mickelson. So we are, as a conference, are concerned that the general fund tapping into the enterprise fund could potentially jeopardize our access to these courses and the work the staff and stuff does to help us get on in the afternoons and during the day for tournaments. Thank you.
Thank you. Megan Kett? And Megan, you've indicated you wish to speak to both items. 2 minutes on the clock.
Good evening, council members. My name is Megan Kettle, and after listening, I am speaking in opposition of the budget cut and speaking in opposition of increasing funding to libraries. And I'm encouraged by the leaders who came before me, who said, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighbor. Won't you be, could you be, won't you be my neighbor? And also who said, butterfly in the sky, I can fly twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book. Read Rainbow. I can do anything, and so can every single one of you. I believe we can restructure this budget and include funding for these libraries that are intentional to help saving lives. If you could think for a moment what it was like to be a child and to connect back to your inner child. So love bubbles, reading, access to getting a library card, going to a safe space that wasn't at your own home, but a safe space you could go and have access to meeting other adults that were safe and encouraging. So I encourage you to increase funding. And after listening, I also would like to make a motion to not cut the Child Youth Success Program. At the very sound of it, I believe we should keep that program and encourage having its own office and its own individual to help with that. It reminds me of the book Robin Hood, but I feel like who's being robbed from are the children, the youth, senior citizens, those who need access to these funding. So I ask you to reconsider. And also lastly, I think of the Lorax. We all know the Lorax, who was trying to encourage those who had forgotten what it was like to love trees, to love books. You haven't stepped foot in a library in a long time. So I encourage you to increase the funding for our rec and public spaces. As a mental health advocate for over 20 years, I guarantee that will improve mental health and save our city funds in the long run. Also, as a lifeguard who saved over 13 people, I know that access to the pools and having training in swimming can save a life. So come together with us all now as we learn to use our voices and to increase the funding for our libraries. Thank you all for your consideration.
Thank you. I will invite the next group of speakers up. Allegedly Audra, you will be followed by Mary Soriano, Blair Beekman, Kofi, and Nicole Lilly. And allegedly Audra, you have been seated time by Ricky. Can you raise his hand? Ricky's present. Thank you. Any so that will be 4 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, talk about the Hunger Games, and it's going to get really interesting as things continue. And it's really sad to see how devastated people are by the choices that the city makes. And it's like, you know, we can sit here and blame the mayor, we can blame you guys, but it's choices that as a collective you guys have made. And you get, you know, billions of dollars at your disposal to spend. And I just wonder, like, if your child came to you and was like, hey, can I get some money? Give me 20 bucks. And then, you know, came back and said, I need 20 more bucks. And kept saying, I need 20 more bucks. And 20 you're thinking, well, where'd you spend that first 20 bucks? Oh, I just made a little plane out of it and just threw it into the street. You know, the next one I used is toilet paper. And just keeps asking for more and more money. Eventually you would be like, listen, I don't think I can give you any more money. You're obviously not going to be able to handle it or manage it. And you guys are supposed to be good stewards of our money. And it's sad to see that it's like, I mean, you'll have money to build like a mansion and we'll end up with a trailer park. You know, but you want to come to the people and it's like you have the police in Raul Campillo's district at Linda Vista. In fact, there have been people that have. So it's like, we're one kind of public safety for that. Rape, there is no, you know, security or things like that. predators know that they can take a child there or somebody that they just want to rape or do whatever to, and nobody's going to see. And it's like, but we want to increase the police budget. You should be cutting it, because why should someone like Anthony Warner be able to go and brutally assault a woman in a park because she's talking about what her experience was at Las Colinas? And it's like, oh, she's crazy. Let me slam her head into the ground, break her face, right? And then complain that he potentially or allegedly had his hand bitten. And so she's being charged with a felony when he broke her face. And she's already had brain aneurysms, and he knew that, and he sprayed her with mace. And so it's like, how can you even trust that we can go anywhere and be safe if there is a rogue police department that even has said, I'm a threat to them because I was beat up by a sheriff? So does that seem logical to you? Do we want people like that out there protecting us? Are they really? And if we're adding all of this surveillance, it's like we should be concerned about Palantir and all this, where all that data is going. It shouldn't be just a concern about illegal aliens. It should be all of us and where this is taking us. It's just sad, because it's like, I mean, how do you guys feel that people are so devastated? Do you feel good about yourselves? Because people are suffering. And they can't even now go into their communities and get refuge in some way because of your choices. Hey, you should be ashamed of yourselves. And you should be going, you know what, I'm going to take a cut. Why don't you take some money from my paycheck and put it into the budget, because that $760,000 could come from right here. Lickety split. But none of you are willing to do that. But you are willing to have your community suffer. So woe to you. Because we all have consequences for our choices. It may not be here in this realm, but believe me, it is coming.
Thank you. Mary Soriano? And you please indicate which department you'd like to speak to?
There is an overall vote.
Okay, 2 minutes. Please begin.
Okay. And that was one tough act to follow, but here I go. Thank you, Andy, for equality versus equity. Thank you, Joe, for your thoughtful. Firefighters should be fighting fires. Adding community wildfire role is a burden, not a solution. Neither the Community Recreation Group nor the La Jolla Town Council has been used to justify recreation cuts. We had our meeting yesterday, the CRG. Asked me about the nuances on special event permit costs and requirements. We held the first multicultural festival by the sea at the rec center. Hire local. Neighborhood staffing brings pride and care. Finally, the mayor's budget, I asked AI, is it a false choice? Yes, it's textbook false choice trap. Pitting parks, rec centers, libraries, arts and culture against emergency responders. It's a frame designed to justify predetermined costs. Thank you.
Thank you, Blair Beekman. And Mr. Beekman, you've indicated you wish to speak to both departments, so I'll place 2 minutes on the clock for you to manage.
Hi, thank you. We made agreements back in 2015 to 2020 that the library worked to make libraries. Now, why do we have to continue that discussion? With park issues, I've mentioned, how we can consolidate technology, surveillance tech use, and it can still provide the same public safety and in local neighborhoods. And then we're not having that conversation here. It's so plain and simple, yet it's not. We're not having that conversation here. It's so plain and simple, yet it's not being presented at all. Why? Good luck what you can be doing. I know that with Council President Von Wilbur, she was asking questions about Balboa Park fee allocation things. The March 9th memo, City Council meeting here, we worked with the Zoological Society. The memo clearly states that staff had a specific goal initially. That parking fee allocation for Balboa Park was to go not only to the what exactly is being parsed and how can concept. Then we can talk about larger issues. Thank you.
Ms. Kofi Asante, you will be followed by Nicole Lilly, Brenda Faith, Helen, and Alex Moreno. If those individuals can please come to the front of the room. And Kofi, you have so 1 minute on the clock.
Good evening. Thank you very much for your time. I'm founder of a nonprofit organization called Black Star Polo, where we provide aquatic opportunities to communities of color, communities. Speaking to the potential closure of the pools for 13 weeks, I wanted to echo some of the comments earlier that the potential costs of pools being shut down removes the right for children to learn one of the most important life-saving and life-changing skills, which is how to swim and drowning prevention. It can cost anywhere from $25 to enroll somebody to learn how to swim, and the effects of drowning can cost the community a minimum of $1 million, even all the way up to $11.2 million from paramedic costs, pool closures, insurance. So I want people to take that into account on saving swim lessons for $20 and a lot more than suffering a risk of $11.2 million and drowning for a city to help the Black and brown community in San Diego. Thank you.
Thank you for your concluding remark, Nicole Lilly. And Nicole, you've indicated you wish to speak to libraries. 1 minute.
Hello, my name is Nicole Lilly. I'm a 23-year-old renter, resident of District 3, and the executive director of Our Time to Act, a youth-led nonprofit organizing powerful youth for a more inclusive, equitable, and sustainable future. I'm here again today to urge this council to prioritize people over police. Growing up, the library was where my brother and I spent our summer vacations. It's where I came to love learning, exploring worlds beyond my own neighborhood. It's where I learned to type and use Microsoft, where I escaped to plan and prepare for my future. Part of that future included serving on my county's youth commission. Here in San Diego, the Office of Child and Youth Success plays a critical role in supporting youth at every stage of their development into adulthood, including the essential role of supporting the city's youth commission, fostering deep leadership development of youth shaping their futures every day. As a 23-year-old executive director, I am telling you firsthand how invaluable the work of this city's libraries and OCYS is to young people's success. Eliminating their funding instead of canceling the FLOT contract and reallocating those dollars would be a catastrophic failure of leadership and unacceptable. Do not balance this budget on the backs of youth. Thank you.
Thank you. Brenda? And Brenda, if you can please indicate which department or departments you'd like to speak to.
For both,
All right, 2 minutes, please begin.
Okay, as the chair and founder of La Jolla Coastal Conservancy and the Friends of Coast Walk Trail, I'm here to ask you, Winston Churchill, when asked to cut funding for the arts, for the war effort, he reportedly said, then what the hell are we fighting for? Sadly, here today, this quite a revenue-generating infrastructure. Libraries are safe sanctuaries. Scripps Park, the Cove, La Jolla Shores, Mission Bay, Sunset Cliffs, to name a few, are all at the core of San Diego's tourism economy and global brand. Yet this budget process to reduce the very operations that keep them functioning. Beach teams reduced, restrooms closed, maintenance scaled back, employees furloughed. On paper, those are only items by those removed from realities of city operations. On the ground, the impact looks like this. Litter that sits, kelp that rots, flies, odor, fast declining visitor experience, and let's not forget employee morale takes a very deep dive. the very people who actually do the work, and the impact on institutional knowledge of people leaving, you can't recover. The support and experience declines, so when everything's systematically connected to it, this administration and the following administrations cannot promote a world-class destination with any level of integrity while quietly underfunding the basics to make it work. Other cities understand part of office towers or industry. We compete on visitor experience.
Thank you for your closing remark. Anybody wishing to expand their comments can also submit comment to councilcommittee@sandiego.gov, and we will post those and distribute them to the council members. Helen? And Helen, you have indicated you wish to speak to Parks and Rec, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, 1 minute, please begin.
I'm Helen. I've benefited for over 70 years from the Parks and Recreations Department here in the city of San Diego. And there is a team called the Asset Management Team, led by Michelle Belishon. The Asset Management Team is made up of licensed professionals with landscape architects, an architect, engineer, all park designers who conduct in-house design and partner with a multitude of non-profit organizations who bring millions of dollars to the department and make park infrastructure projects happen. They do this at a low cost. At this point, the leader of the team, along with the 2 park designers and 1 analyst, are destined to be cut from the budget. It will be catastrophic to the department's ability to continue their vital work.
Thank you, that does conclude your time. Alex Moreno? You've indicated you wish to speak to Parks and Rec? 1 minute, please begin.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Alex Moreno. I'm the assistant coach at RBHS. I'm also a founding member of International Golf Academy. I got here pretty early because I wanted to listen to your session, see you guys in action, and I do not envy your position whatsoever. You have a tough job. Man, big order in terms of what we have to balance. But I'm here on behalf of youth golf, high school golf. There was one statement that Mr. De La Rivera said, and I was, verbatim, it was, we're going to lean to a fund that helps few to help others or more. And I don't remember exactly your words. And I don't think that's accurate, because when you look at the enterprise fund, since its inception, it has helped junior golf, high school golf, adaptive golf. So I respectfully request that you consider not having an impact on those programs.
Thank you for your concluding statement. I'm going to invite the final group of speakers up to the front of the room. Daniel Aldrich, Jonathan Snyder, Sandy Wilczewski, Bradley Schnell, Todd Kaysen, and Michael Hayes. We will begin with Daniel Aldrich. And Daniel, you have indicated you wish to speak to Parks and Rec. All right, 1 minute, please begin.
Thank you, staff. My name is Dan Aldrich. I'm the president of the North American Women Golf Association. I'm also a board member of the United States Active Golf Alliance. I'm also a 40-year paralyzed individual. First sport I started playing after I got injured was golf. The impact that golf can have on somebody's life, specifically somebody that has an injury that goes through some traumatic issue, and they find support that they can re-enter life and reduce life, is tremendous. I'm actually dressed the way I'm dressed because we just had an adaptive golf championship at Torrey Pines today, where the amount of life I can see, people coming out for the very first time. I played with a guy that came off the couch. So when you're talking about impacting a program, golf, it is impactful across the entire spectrum. We're changing people's lives from medical, health, and mental
get back in the Gulf. So thanks for your time.
Schneider? Sandy? Sandy Bolchewski? Bradley? Sandy? Oh, excuse me? You're Brad, do I have Sandy? Sandy? Okay, thank you. Bradley? Would you like to speak to both? All right, 2 minutes.
This is a tough meeting. I think you really lost the plot. We should not be talking about cutting parks and libraries. Future. My name is Bradley Schnell. I am the leasehold owner of the Mission Bay Beach Club, the former Mission Bay Visitor Center. And I have been actively redeveloping that site for 8 years. And I think that if you've been there, it's an amazing site. And it's made me fall in love with Mission Bay Park. Mission Bay Park was a vision they had 80 years ago. And they didn't have the budget to build it. They figured out creative ways to invest in a future. And libraries and parks are about a future. They're about our children. They're about safe places where people can go and have a clean learning experience. So for that reason, I'm announcing today that I am actually launching the Mission Bay Park Conservancy, following the footsteps of Brenda, as well as Forever Balboa Park. We need a conservancy that is going to work with the city to help support and invest. The community is ready to invest. We need you, City Council, to invest in our parks and our libraries. And it needs to start today. Thank you.
Thank you. Todd? Todd, can you please indicate which department?
Parks and Rec.
Great, 1 minute.
Good afternoon, council members. Afternoon, it's evening now, I'm sorry. But really want to thank you first for everything that you do to support this great city and all the residents inside it. My name is Todd Casson. I am the Assistant Commissioner of the San Diego section of CIF. We oversee high school athletics for all of San Diego and Imperial County. And really, we couldn't do what we do without people like Mr. Fields and the support we get from the Park and Rec department. As I sit here and I listen to what you guys are going through today, and I listen to the presentations, been here for about 4.5 hours, and can't believe the decisions that you have to make coming up. They're really tough ones. But I hope, I think it was Chairman Foster who talked about keeping students and the youth in the front of that decision making, because that will lead you in the right direction. And when I think about how the enterprise, it supports junior golf, and all of the things that go through to make that possible for students throughout San Diego. We oversee about 83,000 student athletes that participate in athletics, and they mean a lot to us, and I know they mean a lot to you as well, so keep them in the center. Thank you so much.
Michael Hayes?
I have to bring it home, huh?
And can you please indicate which department you'd like to speak to?
Both.
Both? All right, 2 minutes, please begin.
So I guess I kind of want to talk about what I think you want to talk about. I was, last couple of weeks I've been looking at the Global Innovation Index from Oxford. San Diego area ranks 14th in the world. The future is going to be run by people who are curious, who are creative, who see around corners, who invent. And the question is, where does that come from? There you go. That's where it's developed. And so the thing is, Steve Jobs said Apple was the technology plus liberal arts company. His early people, his programmers, his technology people had to have hobbies in art, music, drama, writing poetry. Again, where does that come from? There you go. So I look at that, and then I look at it like, say, Balboa Park versus Petco Park. Balboa Park serves $14 million people a year. Petco Park, $3.5 million a year. A $4 billion private for-profit corporation, by the way. They don't pay for police protection at Petco Park. Comic-Con does. Rock and Roll Marathon does. So basically, I mean, I could go, it would be too easy to go way too far into that right now. But the bottom line is, America's finest city, it's not just a brand, it's a promise. And this, our future is innovation. Our future is innovation, creativity, curiosity. And that's what happens at the youth level. That's where it's developed. That's what makes the world's most creative people attracted to this city.
Thank you for your concluding remark. Curtis Burton. And Curtis, you will be followed by Jonathan Schneider. You've indicated you wish to speak to Parks and Rec. 1 minute, please.
My name is Curtis Burton. I'm the director of golf at nonprofit Pro Kids University of San Diego, founded in 1994. So we teach life skills, education, and core values through the game of golf. I'm actually a product of the First Tee of San Diego. Learned the game, started learning the game in 1998. Eric locations in the city, I community, grew up in that community. Turned golf not only to a lifelong sport, but to my career choice. I'm one of tens of thousands of people who have gone through the program. We have anything from cardiologists, people who teachers, lawyers, public defenders who learn the game, taking the skills they learned in Pro Kids and, have become successful. But I just want to make sure that we're, continue to be sustainable, in the future and continue to work towards, I think, a lot of the commonalities here with seeing you thrive, and I want to make sure that Pro Kids is thriving, for the next 30 plus years. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Jonathan Schneider. You've also indicated you wish to speak to Parks and Rec. 1 minute, please begin.
Well, thank you all. I'm Jonathan Schneider. I'm the executive director for the United States Adaptive Golf Alliance. Came all the way from Chicago to speak with you all today about the golf division here in San Diego. I'm not sure if you're aware, but San Diego Parks and Rec is a proud member of the United States Adaptive Golf Alliance. It's just 61 organizations across the country that focus on making golf more inclusive for individuals with disabilities. On top of all the wonderful junior programs and programs for your senior residents, the golf division has also been developing an adaptive golf program to bring more individuals with disabilities out to the local courses. Balboa, Mission Bay, and Torrey Pines have all opened their doors and allowed individuals with disabilities to be able to use golf as therapy, to come out and play a game that they created the space for. So my hopes are that you would consider to let them continue to do all the wonderful things that they're doing. They've been quite successful with this since 1991, is when I believe that they golf division has their own separate fund. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your concluding remarks, and this concludes testimony here in chambers. So I will begin the 5-minute timer for all those in the virtual queue to indicate if they wish to provide comment on sub-item F, which includes the library department and Parks and Rec. When I call on you, if you can please indicate which department or departments you'll be speaking to. Each speaker will have 1 minute per department once indicated. We will begin with Sally Small. Please unmute and let us know which department or departments you wish to speak to.
Oh, thank you.
2 minutes, please begin.
Alrighty. Wanted to start with saying thanks to Andy. I can't see whether he's still there or not, but he's done a great job with Parks and Rec with the funding cuts that we've had in the past. Mr. Lee brought up Hunger Games as one of the things that were pitting departments and neighborhoods against one another trying to survive, and I feel that is true. We need to deputize engineers within the Park and Rec department to speed up and make projects cheaper. 633, I think you guys need to make some changes on that. Audit 800-14, take money out of the golf fund if possible. If not, go for SDPD and SLOC that we do not need. They do not provide us the safety that our community needs in our hubs like libraries and parks. If we have the places to hang out and feel safe, we will use them. Something not brought up today was cool zones. Our libraries are our cool zones in D4, where I am in Emerald Hills, and many of us do not have AC. OCYS really should be kept based on the grants that it can get, as well as the film commission. I think one person is okay, fine. We need to think about those with special needs and need the support. My first job ever was in the library, so I'm familiar with that. Oh yes, pools, D4, D8, D9, please make sure that they keep the pools as long as they can. It is a safety issue. Blue-green infrastructure needs another way.
Thank you. Our next speaker is we. Please unmute and indicate which department or departments you'd like to speak to.
I would like to speak on both departments.
All right, 2 minutes, please begin.
Hi, my name is Wee Emeraldine Pence. I'm Executive Director for the Voices. I am calling in to advocate for, restore the library, the Park and Recs funding and hours, as well as the Office for Child Youth Success. And hard working over this because every single year, community come out to do this. We have to change the budget process that requires the mayor to have a public hearing so that he have to sit here and listen to every single person in this room and the entire community of people, elder, youth. He have to hear them because you guys hearing them, but he doesn't. He spent more time doing his PR, trying to fund his budget cut, and it's not right. I hope that you hear the words and you have to protect a lot of these services for the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Laura Blount. Laura, please unmute and indicate which department or departments you'll be speaking to.
Hi, I'd like to speak on Parks and Rec.
All right, 1 minute, please begin.
Thank you. My name is Laura Blunt, and I'm a resident of City Heights. I'm here today speaking for families who rely on our city pools for safety, health, and community. I have 3 daughters, ages 7, 11, and 13, and they all learn to swim at our city pools. Because of that access, they are now on the swim team and junior water polo team at Memorial Pool, and they'll have the opportunity to join junior lifeguards this summer. Most importantly, they're safe around water. In a city like ours, it's a life-saving skill. Year-round access to these pools.
Our next speaker is Andrea Ebbing. Please unmute and indicate which department or departments you'd like to speak to.
I'd like to speak to both, please.
All right, please begin, 2 minutes.
So it's Andrea Ebbing. I wanted to echo Audra's comments about the park, a police officer who somehow suddenly shows up in a park that I'm at when I'm not sure why has no working camera. But they know that, and it's been like, I don't know, 8 or 9 months, so in that area. Funding murderers, like guys. STP is
Wait, how many do you need to have a quorum?
Look at the damage they're doing in people's lives. Not everybody, but a majority. They don't need millions more.
You don't have a quorum.
They need an investigation. They need posts.
You don't have a quorum.
Remove a bunch of them. Thank you.
You don't have a quorum. How many?
Okay, didn't realize I had a quorum. Okay.
You have 1 more minute.
Perfect.
Point of order.
I really love what the woman just said a minute ago about the cool zones. So libraries being defunded, like this whole situation is.
That's his second
it's
time.
really depressing.
He just came
Like,
back. I said it
all
before.
these people talk like the kids last night. Oh my God. It feels very, very dark. It feels very evil. Like these kids have such a better chance. We have better leaders. And by that, I mean we have an assemblyman who's it's clear as day. Gloria has never run a corporation or been held accountable for revenue. Because in any corporate setting, you would never get by with kind of stuff. These kids need us. Like, make good decisions. I don't know if you can go against the police funding, but you should. It's really embarrassing and sad. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. The 5-minute timer has concluded. We have 18 hands remaining in the queue. We will take no other callers beyond these remaining 18 hands up. Continuing with Catherine Rhodes, please unmute and indicate which department or departments you'd like to speak to.
I would like to speak to both, please.
2 minutes, please begin.
First, thank you, Audra Morgan.
According to the mayor, the 10 to 20% pay raise for all the thousands of union worker employees will be added to the budget before the May revise next Wednesday, May 13th, and all the unions are still in negotiations until then. When will the mayor and city council get the money for the 10 to 20% union raises that have yet to be shown in the fiscal year 2027 budget? How can the city council think they can give unions massive new negotiated raises while cutting libraries and recreation hours? Where's the silver bullet to fund these unknown millions in imminent union raises? San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria will release his May revise for the budget. We are asking that the mayor, city attorney, and IBA identify all potential future alternative funding by analyzing our TOT reform ballot measures within this week by May 13th, 2026 May revise, and the IBA write a report documenting the amount of potential new revenue that is expected if measures 1 and 2 are approved by voters, so that the revenue projections can be known for the public and the city to use. In 2 weeks at the Rules Committee, we'll hear Mandy Havlic's and mine 2 TOT reform ballot measures on Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. We would also like to have the IBA's written financial analysis before the vote to move this measure forward for discussion for the full city council. If the city can start to collect over the $200 million in top reform ballot measures,
You don't have a quorum.
The library hours and recreation
You have no quorum.
hours that had to be cut be reestablished.
Point of order.
I kind of want to go back to irrespective of our TOT ballot measures. At any time, the city could borrow against the SDG&E underground surcharge for infrastructure projects. You could actually do it. You could build the.
No quorum. This is the second time this has happened.
Our next speaker is Francine Maxwell.
When you don't have a quorum, and you know.
Please unmute and let us know which department or departments you'd like to speak to.
Robert's Rules of Order. You cannot continue this meeting. You have no quorum. Are you serious? You all know it. This is the second time. And you're going to continue. This is the kind of bullshit that takes place.
Hold on, Councilwoman. We'll be with you in a minute. Thank you for your patience.
You cannot continue. You haven't even adjourned it. I'm taking over the meeting. Just like last time. This is bullshit, Kent. You know it. You did it just a second ago when Raul was not in here. You cannot continue
first
this.
warning for disruption.
My first warning?
I'm gonna give you a
You
second warning
did
for
not
disruption.
have a quorum.
I'm going to ask that you be removed. from
Oh
the
my
meeting
God,
at
are
this
you
time.
fucking kidding me? Because you didn't have a quorum?
We do have a
No,
quorum.
you don't. You
Carry
did not.
forward.
You left. Raul left. Vivian was gone. You had 4 people. You're supposed to have 5.
I'm going to ask that you step out from the meeting.
Because you know I'm right.
I'm going to ask that you step out from the meeting.
Why? Because I'm right?
We're
You
going to
know
go
that
and
you
continue the
can't
meeting.
continue the meeting like that. All of you guys are playing this. All right, let's do it. Let's fuck it go. Because you guys are full of shit. Wow. You didn't have a quorum, you know it, you fucked up, and now you're kicking me out.
We've politely asked you several times to stop disrupting the meeting.
Disrupting, you didn't have a quorum, Kent.
And so we're going to ask you that you depart.
What the fuck, dude? They didn't have, this is illegal what they're doing. And then I'm being abused by your authority. You have other people on the phone. You're not. When you don't have a quorum, and you fucking know it. You fucking know it. Or what, are you gonna arrest me? If I disrupt it, they can't continue a meeting.
For 2 minutes until...
They can't continue a meeting if they don't have a quorum. But you know, this is the second time that you guys have been sent out on me because they don't have a quorum, and they know it.
Bring it up another time.
This is the point. When they don't have a quorum, they cannot continue the meeting. Sean, you know that. Sean, you know That's true, dude.
We're right there.
But you didn't have a quorum. You know, Sean. Sean, you know. Oh my gosh. It's not? Because this is the kind of crap that happens that allows you guys to get away with it when you know I'm right. No, it wasn't. There was no one here. You have to be at the time. This is bullshit because you guys know it's true and you are abusing me and your authority because you know what I just did was 2 times that it's happened. You know it and you've been stuck on me because of it. And all of you know it. Like you want to pretend like this charade goes on. This is why the world is like it is because of shit like this. Holy shit. Yeah, just steal people's money, do whatever you guys want. You know you can't fucking run a meeting like that, but everyone wants to strong-arm me because it's like, oh, don't let her do that. Oh my gosh, what she's doing is totally legit. But we got to kick her out and we're going to arrest her because she knows that what's up. And we all want to just continue the charade. Oh, we got other people that need to speak. Do you? Well, you can't run a meeting if you don't have a fucking quorum. Wow. That's why you guys all should be arrested. That's fine. This is exactly why the world is like it is. Because we have people that run our cities and our counties who don't even know how to do business and then want to come after the people when they actually hold them accountable for the things that they're not doing. So how exciting is that? That is the second time that they have not had a quorum and they want to pretend, oh my gosh, no, we're behind the wall. We're right around there. I'm just on the pot taking a shit and about to wipe, but I'll be right back. It's all right. Like, this is the reason why everything is falling apart. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great day and yeah, stay classy, San